Welcome to the Biotech Startups podcast by Excedr. Join us as we speak with first-time founders, serial entrepreneurs, and experienced investors about the challenges and triumphs of running a biotech startup, from pre-seed to IPO, with your host, Jon Chee. In our last episode, Jimmy covered Monomer's early days, early consulting projects, a thesis around autonomous cell culture, and building an integrated stack across robotics, software, and biology. He also described deployments from startups to big pharma, and how a land pilot expand model helps teams scale. If you missed it, check out part 3. In part 4, Jimmy digs into capital strategy and company design, why fundraising is optional, how services inform scalable software, and why Monomer opened its own lab. He also reflects on decision-making under uncertainty, risk management, and the mindset behind their AI-powered cell culture hackathon, then offers shout-outs, advice to his 21-year-old self, and a bold prediction about autonomous science.
I think something you mentioned earlier in the early days of Monomer, you're starting to, your consulting biz is like a profitable endeavor. When did you know? And I mean, I believe you ended up choosing to raise some capital. When did you know it was time to do that?
I think once we convinced ourselves, okay, there's something here that could use capital.
Yeah.
I've always tried to just build a great company, and fundraising is one of the tools.
Yep.
In that set of tools you have at your disposal.
Yep.
Living in San Francisco, it may feel like every company needs to fundraise. I don't think so. It's just a tool, and they're perfectly great companies that have scaled to a great company, sometimes even big companies, without venture funding.
Absolutely. And I think, again, it's kind of like, don't be the hammer looking for the nail, and make everything look like a nail. Because I think I like that approach. It's refreshing, and sometimes it can be overly prescriptive in the way one problem solves. And raising capital, like you said, is a way of solving a problem, but is it really the way you want to solve that problem?
Yeah.
TBD. That's a decision one has to make for themselves. And I think, at some point in time, some people, I think I might have written a post about it, or just kind of listing out some companies that made it without going the traditional route, and it's actually bootstrapping. And there are plenty of companies where it is 99% of the time you got to raise capital. But there are there are therapeutics companies that bootstrapped. But
even biotech, therapy companies.
Yeah, therapy. There are therapy.
It was amazing to me. But
there are therapy companies that have bootstrapped. It's just very unorthodox. And it might take a lot longer. Right? There are folks who exactly what you said, created cash flow streams early in other business lines. And then they got into therapeutics, and they're let's use this cash flow stream to fund this, and develop a pipeline. So it's
and a flywheel,
and you create that flywheel, and it's just and sometimes the services work informs your pipeline development, or if if you're trying to develop your own pipeline, or perhaps you have your own platform, maybe you generate cash flow streams off your platform, licensing opportunities, collaborations, whatever it may be. And then you're we now can actually keep some of this, IP on our for ourselves. Anyways, all that to be said, I prescribe to the idea that there's a bunch of different ways to capitalize a business and run a business. So I love that you're able to think of it from that perspective.
Yeah, and I think especially in today's biotech environments, gotta be creative.
Gotta be creative.
The advice out there now is try and extend your runway as much as possible, run lean, but also maybe diversify, get other cash flow streams.
Absolutely.
But biotech industry aside, the state of biotech aside, it took me a chat with CEO of ASML to kind of get a conviction to go back to services as well. So the Asimov both deploys their software platform at your lab, but can also do cell engineering services in their lab. And so that gave me the conviction beginning of this year also, to build out our own lab.
Cool.
Where we can do pilot projects for customers as well as deploy our platform directly at the customer site.
Very cool. And what was
now that we have a lab, by the way, we can do all kinds of fun stuff. I just like to plug a hackathon that we're hosting October 25, 26. We call it the AI Scientist Cell Culture Hackathon, where we're opening up our robotic work cell and allowing participants to get hands-on growing cells on our automation. And we're bringing in other AI companies, Briefly, Cypher, and Potato, that are providing their AI tools to, for example, scour the internet and find best practices and quickly create a protocol and run that, have folks come in and run that protocol on our robotic work cells.
Very cool.
And then it's going to be a mystery cell culture that will announce the day of the competition.
Sweet. Hell yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm curious, like, when you had that conversation with the CEO of Asimov, like, what did he say that got you to take the leap?
Yeah, he said it was crucial for the survival of Asimov.
Wow.
The software is the scalable part, but the services informs the software.
Yep.
In your own lab, you can see it much more directly and get the cycles on. And dog food is basically your own software play.
I was going to say, like, look, people, that's the allure of software, right? It's like, oh, this is infinitely scalable with zero marginal costs. Like, why don't we just do that?
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to do the unscalable
to
make the scalable work.
Yeah. I know, like, investors love software. It's very scalable.
Of course. Like, no, you're telling me I don't have to put more money in. Like, you can just sell this into infinity. Like, why don't we do that?
and also, investors love for you really to go all in, growth at least before growth at all costs, really focusing on one thing and really focus. And so then software and services sounds odd to them. But I think as a founder, you also remember investors have made many, many bets. So they've diversified and they want you to go all in on your thing. So there's a slight impedance mismatch there.
Yep.
Where founders do have to diversify a little bit.
Yep. I completely agree. And I think that's like, it is kind of there's like a little bit of a misalignment, right? And so, and there's it's just naturally it comes with the territory, it's part of the beast. But absolutely, I think, as one of my business mentors, Sandy Page, has always says, like, it's like the best founders and CEOs are always risk management. Like,
risk management.
Yeah, it's like you're always managing risk, right? Even though it's like and the best ones do it. And that's not saying don't take risk. That's not the key here. Is it's like but it's like thinking about the risk and managing it. And when you talk about like diversifying these things, that's a risk management exercise, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like
I'm realizing I spend a lot of time worrying. That's maybe one unexpected thing of becoming CEO. There's a lot of worrying.
Oh, for sure. Like, I do the same. I'm right there with you.
I could be like, I should reframe it to risk management.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Like, I think it stems from my worries too, and like my anxieties around it. It's like planning for different scenarios, right? Because like the universe, you just never know. Shit happens. Is basically, I guess, is a more coarse way of saying it, right? And so planning for when shit happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Risk management really planning for when shit happens. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. We could call it a bunch of different things, but I think, and that's why I'm always excited hearing about people and entrepreneurs. If you're on this entrepreneurial journey, you know, like, and it kind of reminds me of it when you're in your graduate studies, just like proving yourself that you can learn new things and just teach yourself and just new things. That's like, again, it comes back to like the entrepreneurship, right? It's like you now have your own space and you do services. That's probably a new thing, but you figured it out, right? And you just need a little bit of a push from a colleague of yours. But like, I think for any entrepreneur out there, like, and maybe I'll bring it home. Like for me, is like I never thought I'd be doing podcasts, like
Yeah.
ever, like proper.
Yeah,
ever.
I never thought I would be on this.
Right. So like, see, we're able to do new things. Like it's basically like, and that is something that and you don't even have to be a founder or an entrepreneur to find, for this to be an important thing. Just like you can do new things. Like
you can do new things. You can do the things that you don't want to do, like in grad school, those math classes I mentioned.
Yeah.
That were on fluid dynamics that I was like, I'm never going to do fluid dynamics in my career.
Yeah.
But I had to pass those classes.
Yeah.
Wait, all right, is hunker down.
New things, hard things, and also different things, right? Like, right. It's like, and do like what you just described is like a business, like it's almost like another business line. Right. And that is quite different. The business model is different. Like the motion is different. Like, it's all different. But there's like you said, this orthogonal aspect is how you get like, and where magic happens. And for us, I was like, I think the kind of the lucky side effect of the podcast is like being able to have conversations. Like I cross paths with people I never thought I would cross paths with. Like that is like, something else is like, I'm actually super shy and I don't like going to, frankly, social events. Like outside of my like close friends and family, I think, but I'm not excellent at, large social gatherings. But the podcast, I didn't want to start the podcast. Actually, it was my team that forced me into it. And I'm glad that they did, kind of like the Asimov CEO, just like, dude, you got to do this. And then there's like magic happens. Like I get to have conversations like this and I get to meet people and it connects the dots and it informs other aspects of the business. And I'm going to imagine the more you do the services, it informs the other pillars.
Yeah. And now do you like it?
I do like it. I've learned to like it. I've learned to like it. I used to like freak out. I used to freak out and just like, oh my God, like what about like my palms are sweating, just like, oh God, like how am I gonna do this? And now I'm like, this is super fun. Like I look forward to it and find a lot of energy from it. So I guess like I challenge anyone out there who might think like, this is a new thing I can't learn or it's so different that I'm unable to do it. I don't think I'll like it. Try it. Like try it. You might learn to like it. Because like I had all kinds of preconceived notions about doing something new. As I'm sure before you started your services arm and getting your own space, you probably had some notion on like why you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, focus the investors, like
focus
on scalable things.
Yeah, sell more software. Like
you have to rethink from the beginning, or what doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
and it's hard because not everyone on your team agrees.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when I reading those math books, it's like I understand this. I understand this. Oh yeah, I understand. I don't understand this, or this doesn't sit quite right. Go back. Oh, I don't understand this either. Go all back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think another thing too that you just mentioned that like stands out to me too is as an entrepreneur, like you're like obviously founded a company, you're making these decisions oftentimes with not enough information And there will be people who also disagree with you. Like you
that
don't
know
have,
that are smarter than you,
yeah,
with
right?
more experience than you.
Yeah. So like it's hard. You have incomplete information. And then
Correct.
exactly what you said, the people that you look up to might disagree with you. But sometimes, I'm not saying like you should go be contrarian for the sake of being contrarian, but
Yeah.
there are sometimes the right decision is despite the disagreement, which is the hard part.
Tough balance, yeah.
Yeah, that's the super hard part. So I think like that's another thing is just like, and, I think, something I've noticed is that like there's a lot of advice out there. Like
Yeah.
there's so much advice out there.
Yeah, and blog posts, and then the person that's smarter than you and on your team that's fighting for the company, and you
Yeah,
send you a blog post, and okay, yeah, I guess that's
it's hard. It's hard, right? You have this information overload. So it's like, it is like incredibly hard. It is made like as much as there's like, I enjoy that there's a lot of information at your fingertips now.
Yeah.
It is made, but has made decision making harder.
And so that is something I'm like actively working on this year. Being more decisive with not all the information, and despite people telling me it's not the wrong thing, even if they're smarter.
Yeah. And I think that's a learned muscle and an acquired skill, right?
Yeah.
And everyone can learn how to do this. Like, but I think, I've made plenty of mistakes where I just went with the flow.
Right.
Just like, all right, well, everyone seems to be in agreement here, and it just ended up being we were all wrong. Like,
Right.
but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
we were all wrong. Like, that's like, that's this like, yeah, like, we can commiserate in that, but like, I would rather be right. Like, I'd rather it be right. So it's kind of that independent, like, you gotta like, work the independent thinking muscle. And I think it's almost like overplayed of like by saying thinking from first principles, but that's really what it is.
Yeah, my mind goes to like thinking from first principles, or like recently founder mode.
Yeah.
And I also hate bringing that up because it can be very misinterpreted.
Yeah. It's loaded. It's loaded. It has a lot of like
loaded too. And
yeah.
I've had my shares of like working for managers that I felt micromanaged. So I still believe in like delegating and autonomy. But I think you guys got to learn when to turn it on, when to turn it off.
Yeah.
And turn it on when you have like very good conviction.
Yeah. It's situational. Like it's just like highly situational. And it's never really a thing where you're like, again, it's like the right tool at the right time.
Yeah. Exactly.
You can't just like be like use this one lens. And I think Charlie Munger talks about it, is like you talk about mental models, right? It's just like you got to have a bunch and you draw on them like at different times. And that's why he was like such a legend, was because he just knew so many domains and like the lessons from each domain and just carried with him wherever he went. He was like, oh, that reminds me of like this like biological concept or something from psychology or like finance or whatever, or just like, so anyways, I think, it's, I'm stoked for like what Monomer is like, kind of like from the earliest days of like, from consulting, building the 3 pillars, and now you have your own space, and you're like you've taken this approach, and you've kind of like drawn a line in the sand. Now looking forward 1 year, 2 years, what's in store for Monomer, and what's in store for you?
I'd say, like I mentioned, end of October 25, 26, we're hosting this AI scientist cell culture hackathon. Super excited about that because it's bringing in all these different folks from different disciplines. We have scientists coming, we have automation engineers coming, we have data scientists, ML engineers coming. And yeah, I'm excited to see what comes of it.
Cool.
So that's the very short term. The next 2 years, I mentioned there are 3 ways of working with us. We can monitor your cell cultures in your lab with our software. We can generate data in our lab, or we can automate cell culture in your lab. And I think long term, we got to stay true to our mission. So I mentioned like from my earlier experience, like seeing my little brother in incubator, thinking about living cells as the foundation of life, staying true to our mission of developing tools that explore the unknown universe of living cells. We innovate with the goal of curing human diseases, and we inspire the world by uncovering intricate details of how life works.
Hell yeah.
The long term.
Absolutely. I love that. And I think something for company building is like never losing sight of that North Star. Like why do you get out of bed to begin with? like never. And like there's plenty of distractions out there that can like pull you away from that. So I love
Right.
that. Like it's just like remembering that is like the guiding post
Yeah.
for everything that Monomer does. So I love that. Well, Jimmy, you've been super generous with your time. Like first also thank you. Like I appreciate it. Yeah.
And thank you for getting me out of my comfort zone and doing
of course.
podcast.
I'm having a blast. I hope you are too. And you know, I've learned a lot, and you know, I see a lot, like a lot of parallels in kind of journey as I see on mine. So it's I feel like I'm it's like a kindred spirit. So thank you again.
Yeah, I see it too. Both founders in biotech, challenging, massively complex industry that is currently having its challenges, and maybe the way we carry ourselves in the world.
Absolutely.
Similarity, at least in like mannerisms.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, we have, you know, our family were in Indonesia, so it's like it goes all the way back. It goes all the way. It goes all the way back. Well, thank you again. And like in traditional closing fashion, we have two questions. First question is, would you like to give any shout outs to anyone who supported you throughout your career?
I'd say right now I have to thank my wife. She just gave birth to a baby girl 7 weeks ago. And that's a non-negotiable 9 months and then birth. And that's all on her. I try to help with groceries and dishes and chores. And they give you tasks as a support person during birth.
Yep.
Massages and all this stuff. But, you know, the bulk of the work is on her.
Yep.
And she's always supportive in me doing this crazy startup that has massive challenges and complexity, but she knows that like I like suffering.
So, yep. Absolutely.
And our wife, our baby at 7 weeks old, obviously is still peanut. So a great little joy. But yeah, now the next tranche of work begins.
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, it's all worth it. And yeah, the baby girl is like such a joy. I like to call her a little legume.
Yeah.
So, little bean or a little pea or a little peanut, family of legumes.
Yep. Love that. And the second and last question, if you can give any advice to your 21-year-old self, what would it be?
I would say, like, don't worry too much. I guess having lived this international life, I think has given me, is one of my like experiences I'm truly grateful for. The hard parts of that sometimes is like I guess coming to the US, I was always under this constraint of my visa, which always had a finite some date.
Yep.
So like at first I was in school on an F1 student visa, some deadline. So I had to stay in school or, you know, I'd have to leave the country and then I'd start work like OPT and then OPT STEM extension and then H1B and then a green card and all this up to H1B. I always needed to have a job or stay in school. And so this affects your work and what you choose to do, but also your personal life and your relationships, because you always have this deadline. You never know what's going to happen. I really feel for the international students today. And it's not to get political, it's not a political podcast, but like
It's hard.
I've always felt like that pressure, but now I can't imagine what it's like to be an international student now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, luckily over time I got my green card and things settled down, and there's like a weight lifted off my shoulders. But yeah, don't worry, 21-year-old Jimmy.
Yeah.
It'll all work out.
Yeah.
And I've this year decided to become a U.S. citizen. I've had the option for a while as a green card holder, but
Amazing.
yeah, to become a U.S. citizen. Maybe one reason to provide some stability for my family now.
Amazing. Yeah. And I think I am a worrier. I'm a chronic worrier. So I empathize, and I think
where your risk
yeah,
management.
yeah. I am
Sure, you have some plan when shit happens.
yeah, exactly. Like risk management, aka having a plan when shit happens.
Yeah,
that's absolutely it. But no,
yeah,
excellent advice.
maybe not to end on something that's worrying, like something more hopeful. When I was 21, roughly that time is when they had the first DARPA Grand Challenge, where they had autonomous cars racing through the desert. And I worked in the robotics lab, and like I didn't work on autonomous cars at the time, but so a lot of my friends did. And I remember thinking that they said the goal was for autonomous cars in cities, and I thought that wasn't going to happen. That this was cool engineering, really cool like robotics science, but there's, I thought, so many edge cases of how humans walk around in the world, the little signaling they do, all the regulations that need to have figured out. But now today, you can take an autonomous taxi here in San Francisco. So that's, I would say, to my 21-year-old self, autonomous cars actually, they're going to happen.
Yeah, they can actually happen, and honestly, the rides are sweet. Like,
they're sweet.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet. Like, if anyone has a chance to ride a Waymo in San Francisco, it's a magical experience.
Surprisingly magical, right? You think, oh, I got an autonomous car. But then you get into one, it's like, oh, it's like
what? Like, I think it's a better driver than me. Like, I was like, I thought I was a good driver, but this thing is, and I don't know all the technical kind of how it happens, but it's just like you just see on the screen, it just like can see everything like in such a massive, like you just see like, oh, there's like people here. Yeah, like all around it's like perimeter. And you're like, I would have never seen that. I would have never seen that as a driver. Like, it's just like, it saw like this distant cone, like 2 blocks down, like kind of hidden. I was like, how the heck? And you can just like see. Anyways, it is super rad. And I think, that is definitely, for, as looking forward, there are cool shit is not like, it's just beyond the horizon, even despite how complex it can be.
Yeah, and that's why I tell my today-year-old that autonomous science is going to happen.
Yep. Hell yeah.
It may seem impossible and practical now, but I think because Monomer Bio is vertically integrated on cell culture, we are best positioned to like solve this closed loop, lab in the loop, AI in the loop challenge. And looking at autonomous cell culture. And in fact, we've shown already we can do autonomous media optimization on hematopoietic stem cells.
Cool.
So that's one project I'm particularly proud of. And so, yeah, I think autonomous science is going to happen.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's a really rad future that I'd like to be in. So, I'm stoked for you. I'm stoked for Monomer. And, thanks again for taking the time. And, I'm going to take you up. We'll eat some Indonesian food in the near future. So Jimmy, thanks again. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yep. Thanks, John.
Thanks for listening to our 4-part series featuring Jimmy Sastra, from his early fascination with robotics and optimization, to pioneering lab automation at Stratios, to building Monomer Bio's vertically integrated approach. Jimmy's story shows how curiosity, resilience, and cross-disciplinary thinking can redefine what's possible in science and entrepreneurship. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend. Join us for our next series featuring Sergey Yakimov, founding partner of Launch VC, a venture capital fund backing early-stage biotech and longevity-focused founders. A serial entrepreneur, Sergey has co-founded 3 deep tech ventures and raised more than $50 million in funding. He also partnered with early-stage therapeutics companies on fundraising, IP protection, and clinical trial strategies, particularly in cardiovascular, oncology, and neurodegenerative disease. Beyond venture, Sergey co-founded Longenesis, a medical tech company unlocking the value of biomedical data to accelerate drug discovery, and the Longevity Science Foundation, a non-profit advancing research to extend healthy human lifespan. From startups to venture creation to global efforts in longevity, Sergey's path reflects both entrepreneurial grit and a deep commitment to changing how we think about aging and disease, making this a conversation you won't want to miss. The Biotech Startups podcast is produced by Excedr. Don't want to miss an episode? Search for the Biotech Startups podcast wherever you get your podcasts and click subscribe. Excedr provides research labs with equipment leases on founder-friendly terms to support paths to exceptional outcomes. To learn more, visit our website www.excedr.com. On behalf of the team here at Excedr, thanks for listening. The Biotech Startups podcast provides general insights into the life science sector through the experiences of its guests. The use of information on this podcast or materials linked from the podcast is at the user's own risk. The views expressed by the participants are their own and are not the views of Excedr or sponsors. No reference to any product, service, or company in the podcast is an endorsement by Excedr or its guests.